Hello and welcome to video number 11 in the Nintember 2016 series. I am Wes, the Average Trainer, and today we're kicking off the Nintendo 64 run of games with one of my personal favorites, Paper Mario, for the Nintendo 64, as I mentioned. Now, this game was very, very, very witty. If there's one thing that I can say about this game is that it is a clever game. So many jokes. So many references to Mario games of the past, and I have to say it's probably one of the most well-written Nintendo games I've ever seen, let alone a Mario game. So just on those merits alone, this game is worth playing. Now, a little bit about my experience with this. I knew that it was somewhat of a sequel to Super Mario RPG, another game that I really, really love, but it was a little bit disappointing that it wasn't a direct sequel. Obviously, there was no Square Soft at that time, Square Enix now, input at the time, and it was, part of it was a little disappointing. I won't lie, when there was no Geno or Malo. I had expected to see them, but, eventually I just had to accept the fact that, no, they're not in this game, so I just gotta look at it on its own merits. So that was a little bit of disappointment, but it is basically a sequel to that. It's an RPG, and it's got all the mechanics that you would expect, and it's enjoyable. It was a very light RPG for sure. It was not terribly difficult in hindsight. When I was playing it, of course I had some difficulty being I was 12 years old at the time it came out. Yeah, I was not a seasoned RPG veteran at that point, though it was coming. My day was coming. But anyway, this stands out in my mind as one of the first games where I had to do actual mathematical calculations for my battles. So I remember the ice monster area boss person thing. It was particularly difficult. I was having a real struggle beating that ice monster. No matter what I did, I just could not seem to figure out what to do. And so I remember having to go to the library, since I did not have internet at our house at this time. I had to go to the library, look up, I believe I was on GameFAQs at that time. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure I was at GameFAQs, looking up all of the different strategies that it would take to beat this boss, and I got the number for his HP, and I decided, you know what, I'm just going to have to do some math, because I'm in, 5th grade, 6th grade at this point, and I can do math. So I figured out he had 200 HP or something that seems absurdly low at this point, but 200 HP, and I calculated how much I would have to spam my star attacks, my very special attacks, and which ones I would have to do, and what I'd have to do for guarding. The battle system fails me at this point, but suffice to say, it was pretty complicated for a kid at this time. And I remember I had 200 HP at the top, and every time I did some damage, I did some subtraction. I was like, okay, minus 16, minus 15, minus 25, et cetera, until finally I got down to 0, and my palms were sweaty. My heart was palpitating, but I had finally beaten that boss. It probably took me a good couple days to beat that boss. So once I had finally beat it, I was just like, man, I'm done. Of course I wasn't done. I kept playing the game, and I remember actually finishing this game to completion. I remember it was not something that I put off. I rented that game several times until I could beat it, and thankfully my save file still stayed there. That is good news. So, last thing I want to mention about this game is that its advertising was on point. I remember going through the magazine, and I think it was Nintendo Power. Yeah, obviously advertising their own game. And you got to this one page where it had a picture of Paper Mario and dotted lines all around it that you can cut out, and it was described as a quote-unquote free demo. And I thought that was hilarious. I mean, at that age, cool puns like that, right before you turn into a real teenager, that's hilarious. So that was fantastic advertising, and I think I still have a scan of that somewhere on my computer that I have to find. But anyway, that's, I was about to say Super Mario RPG. No, that's Paper Mario, and I think everybody should play it. I believe it's on the Wii U eShop right now, and there's no reason for you not to pick it up at this point. So thank you for watching, and until next time, stay average. Goodbye.